Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check this out. We got the IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, dropping a bombshell. Will world governments adopt the XRP ledger? XRP holders are on the right side of history. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen. Everything that we're talking about here today, $1.310 trillion market cap for crypto this morning. We're off by 0.7%. Good morning, everybody. It is May 25th, 2022. Bitcoin right now, 29,300 plus. Ethereum, 1,900 plus. We see XRP at 39 cents this morning. You just come down a little bit more. Watch what I'm going to do. Don't you tell Mrs. Backup on me now. Don't tell Mrs. Backup. Let's take a look at the range of price right here. 39 cents on the bottom, looking at 40 cents on Fiat Link right here. 42 at the top. We'll keep an eye on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been having a blast working with Masterworks, and I love investing in fine art. There's a link underneath the video. Don't mess around. Similar appreciation or similar works appreciation, not guaranteed, obviously, but 22% for Cicely Brown right here. You look at the others, 22% off her work, 12.4, 15.8. I bought into this one here, and listen, and some of these things are almost fully vested. There is no minimum to participate in this. $20 a share, and you can participate in owning a share in these fine art paintings. I'm telling you, it's pretty remarkable. And again, it's outperforming the S&P. And in a time when we know that the crypto space is highly volatile, this makes me feel very good to have this diversification going on. And again, I love fine art. Link underneath the video. No minimum, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this right here. This is Gary Gensler. We covered this yesterday, but I wanted to highlight what John Deaton said here because Gary Gensler put out a 2-minute video, which I'm not going to play for you. I don't want anyone to get sick this morning. And it basically is saying, we need investor protection and regulatory clarity and arbitrage and loopholes and all this. There is some truth to what he's saying there. We don't want to use exchanges that are front running on us. That is for sure, right? But it really does come down to his approach really mounts out to this. And this is what John Deaton says here. Let's not risk undermining 90 years of security laws, Gary Gensler. Instead, your enforcement lawyers are ignoring 76 years of precedent. Howey never held oranges from the Howey test that they were securities. It's the scheme behind the offering. So why is the SEC claiming XRP itself as a security? It's a power grab. It's a jurisdictional land grab. Really, that's what we're talking about here. Stuart Alderati chimes in as well and says Ripple attorney slams Gary Gensler over SEC's quest to control the entire cryptocurrency market. The theme is heavy here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I covered that yesterday as well. But look, we need to stay on top of this. And when it comes to the case of the SEC versus Ripple and how the SEC has taken many different stances on Hinman's speech that provided the free pass for Ethereum, it is obvious from this right here found by Wheezy X that says, this is Jay Clayton speaking, by the way, our corporate finance division director recently further outlined the approach staff takes to evaluate whether a digital asset is a security. That is guidance from an agency right there. And we know that the SEC has tried to retreat from that and claim that it is William Hinman's personal opinion. And now that they're staring down the barrel of having to give up the emails, they're trying to take a different stance now and claim it is actually the opinion of the agency. It is deplorable and absurd, the actions the legal team has taken. And at this point, the integrity of the judges in this case is on trial as well as Ripple. To make no mistake about it. Let me tell you something right here. You can always tell when we're starting to move towards election season. Warden Davidson, who took a shot at Ripple and XRP, claiming it was a security, I'm paraphrasing here, not standing up for the whole crypto space, but now that we're moving into election season, he says crypto is no longer new. SEC, CFTC, have not worked with Congress to provide regulatory clarity. Instead, the SEC has selectively enforced opaque regulations, issued fake guidance, and tied legit companies up with endless paperwork drills, driving Americans offshore. Sad. Yeah, let me tell you what else is sad, too, because you're right, Warren Davidson. Crypto is no longer new, but neither is lip service. You're literally one of the guys who's supposed to get officials from both sides of the aisle together for the clarity we need for the American people and American innovation. How about no excuses, right? You got two things you can offer this world when you get up, Warren Davidson: excuses or results. How about we keep that in mind when we move towards November? Blaming the SEC and CFTC. You're in Congress, for God's sakes. Do something about it. If you don't have the moxie, get out of there so somebody else can. Mastercard CEO teases a CBDC panel that SWIFT may not exist in 5 years. Oh, he said it. Oh, he said it. Well, he had to walk it back in the end here. In Davos, Switzerland, Mastercard CEO Michael Maybach here, right there in the middle with the grin, had people gasp when he answered no when asked if SWIFT, the current interbank messaging system that allows for cross-border payments, will exist in 5 years' time. He smiled during his answer, but the crowds oh'd and ahh'd, seemingly taking his answer seriously. Maybach spoke on a panel adjacent to the World Economic Forum's annual summit, and it was hosted by the Global Blockchain Business Council. Now, if you come down here, just in full fairness here, right? Mastercard spokesman downplayed the impact of Maybach's response in a statement and said, "Let us clarify that the intent of the on-stage comment is not as simple as a yes or no." Michael was simply reinforcing what SWIFT has previously said: their offshore operations continue to evolve. Oh, boy. So the spokesman said, look, we got to try to walk that back a little bit, right? But it is funny because I've always said that I believe that RippleNet and ODL combination and the liquidity hub can operate as a digital arm to SWIFT. Now, whether it goes away or not is another matter. We'll see. But it gets better because here it is right here. It can't be any clearer. Shout out to Gladinus right here. And let's take a look. This is Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the IMF. And in just a moment, you're going to hear from the former managing director, Christine Lagarde, for contrast, so we're not confused about what they're talking about. And she is now, obviously, Christine Lagarde, the European Central Bank president currently right now. So take a listen to this clip. It is powerful.
We are advocating to think about this world of digital money as a global public good. And in a recent discussion in Zurich, where we both were, what we advocated for is to have a public platform. So when protocols are agreed, this public platform can connect different CBDCs. There can be interoperability, the same way you would transfer euros from one country to another. You do it using CBDCs.
And there you have it right there. She's calling for a value protocol to be adopted that's highly interoperable. Well, let's be clear, because Christine Lagarde's going to tell you very quickly in this that we are not talking about the Bitcoin.
One of the main topics up there was crypto.
And this is when she was the IMF director, now the ECB president.
Cryptocurrencies and all sorts of companies now getting into this effort, not least among them Facebook. What kind of threat does this pose to the traditional banking system?
Well, I think you have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors. And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents. We just heard a very large systemic bank here saying that they're launching their digital coin, currently piloted in a way within the institutional clients, but to be scaled beyond that. We heard from the European Central Bank that they have launched in November something that is called TIPS, that enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago, that is clearly shaking the system.
It's clearly shaking the system, and it's far from the Bitcoin that we talked about years ago. So it is not Bitcoin. That is the truth right there. Well, before we play this clip, I want to give you this. Remember when this went on? This was the Fed Society with Christian Carlo. And in that, Christian Carlo pointed out that what we're seeing with the social media platforms is basically outsourced censorship from the government, because the government can't do it themselves because they have to operate within the confines of the Constitution, thankfully, right? So in that comment, in that context, it basically led to the question that I asked here, Christian Carlo, are you suggesting that the government should consider adopting a protocol of value for the internet to ensure that the Fourth Amendment, privacy, and other freedoms and privacy are respected for the new financial system and the digital dollar, because he's also the head of the digital dollar project? And that's exactly what he's suggesting. And he says it's worth considering. Now, we understand that now Christian Carlo, the head of the digital dollar project, is suggesting that the U.S. government consider adopting a value protocol to move money and other things of value. Here's a quick clip here, and shout out to Alice in Wonderland, and shout out to Ian Benz here. And this is her thoughts on this, just my opinion, she says. I think XLM will be the global bridge for the people's currency. Meanwhile, XRP will be the global bridge for the banker's currency. Same function, different customers, usage base. And I think that's something close to right. I've always said myself that I think XRP is more designed for a back end, and then XLM could be more designed for like retail use, people use, right? And it doesn't mean that you won't be able to use it if you don't have it or anything like that. I'm just saying ultimate functions, ultimate use case, we shall see. And right here is Lynette Zhang speaking with George Gammon. And listen to what she says in this quick clip here about SDRs becoming not only back end as they are now, but also introducing a front end. And maybe that is a suggestion of how XRP and XLM could play a role if they were to take over as a designation of some kind of a new SDR.
Are the world reserve currency. Easy transition. They've talked about having a retail SDR, which you and I would actually have access to, right, as well as a wholesale SDR, which is what governments and banks would have access to.
So you're under the impression.
And there it is right there. Now let's go ahead and move to this, because all of this talk of what Kristalina Georgieva, the IMF director, is saying about a public good, right? This is what I've been saying. And by the way, shout out to Mike Jansen. Mike Jansen's birthday today. This guy, co-producer on Kryptonaires, the movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. And I tell you, just a great friend at this point. And Mike, I hope you have a wonderful day. But take a listen as we close this out right here. This is David Schwartz telling you himself, as we have said for a couple years on this channel, the XRP Ledger is a public good. We all know how interoperable it is, and it could absolutely serve to be adopted by all the governments of the world for the CBDC system. Take a listen. The next clip is quite fascinating, because the next clip, he's going to tell you exactly what I've been saying on this channel for an extremely long period of time, at least a couple years now. I believe that the XRP Ledger is a public good, like the protocols of the internet that we use today. And there are many protocols that make up the experience that we call the internet, right? And I believe one of those new protocols to be brought to the forefront here is the XRP Ledger. Will not only allow the internet to be the internet of information that we have today, but will open up and allow the internet of value, just as David was describing, amongst every financial institution as well, for that fourth industrial revolution of making payments, instant settlement, and with very, very low cost, scalability, and security. Listen to this comment here.
Than a penny and fully confirm in less than 10 seconds. XRP Ledger's hyper efficiency and liquidity enables developers globally to support numerous use cases from DeFi, payments, consumer applications. And you don't need anybody's permission to interact with the XRP Ledger, right? It's a public good.
It's a public good. Now we got Kristalina Georgieva saying it, the IMF director, and that they want to adopt it worldwide. What else could it be? XRP Ledger? The Stellar Ledger? I don't know where this goes, but I tell you, I think we're over the target. Now, this is not financial advice from me or anyone else, but just my digital perspectives on this day. Happy birthday to Mike Jansen, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Make sure you like and share with somebody you know that's in this space, and check out all the links underneath the video. They're great products and specials I use each and every day. I'll catch all of you on the next one.